Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the WD Broadcasting Network. Here we are once again with the Leave the Pack Street Stock Showdown, ready for tonight's 75-lap race at the Five Flag Speedway. Race 6 of 12 on the calendar. It's qualifying time. We'll see who is able to take the top spot. Brad Carpenter making his qualifying effort, takes the green flag down into turns 1 and 2. The driver out of Idaho comes across the line. He will take the white flag. First lap time in 18:66. Second lap time for Carpenter. We'll see what he can do as Chris Smith goes top of the board in the 80 machine on his first lap. Second lap time a little bit slower, but good enough for quick time. Next up is Joey Connor. Actually, next up is Dylan Connor. Was leading the points heading into last week. Things got a little bit chaotic for him on lap 1. Right now he sits in the second spot in points, just 6 points back from Brandon Elvison. He will go to the top of the board for the second week in a row. We'll see if anybody else has anything else to say. Joey Connor now. First lap time in 18:90. See if he can get it wound up here on lap number 2. His 3 turns, 3 and 4 that time. Checkered flag is out, and he will best Dylan Connor. He'll go to the top of the board, a 17:91. The Connor boys 1-2 here in qualifying. One driver still left to go, Lance Sater in the 67 machine. Out on track. We'll see what he can do on lap number 1. And it looks like not going to be able to get a lap in, unfortunately. Time ran out. Only 5 minutes given to these drivers to get that first qualifying lap in. So we'll see what happens here. We've got a 3-minute warm-up. 3-minute warm-up for these drivers. And we'll look at the schedule heading into tonight. Hasn't been updated with our winner, Trevor Edwards, from last week at the Indianapolis Raceway Park, but after tonight we will be halfway into the season. Slinger next week is going to be an action-packed race. 100 laps at the quarter-mile high banked Slinger Speedway. Stafford after that, going to be an interesting change of pace after Slinger. Then Hickory, Bristol, Lanier, and Fairgrounds, all to finish out the season. It's going to be fun. Hopefully we can see some big car counts at Bristol and maybe even Hickory. That'd be a pretty fun race with a big car count. We've got 15 or so street stocks on hand here this evening. Ready to go 75 laps at 5 flags. And we'll see what happens. The invert was a 10. We'll get the results up on screen. We'll try to get the results up on screen at least. They weren't working last week. We'll see if they work this week. There we go. Results up on screen. From qualifying, Easton Swain going to be on the pole in the 33. He'll have Connor Lee to his outside. Zach Murphy third. Matt Borndren fourth. Your top 5 all get qualifying points. But 13 cars took time. I believe we have 14 on hand with us here tonight. As Jeremiah Woods in the 75 elected to not qualify, he'll try to come from the back. So the checkered flag flying on the warm-up session. These drivers have gotten every last bit of practice in. They've got an hour before the qualifying session to get those practice laps in, but they get that little warm-up session to make sure everything's set. And that they're all ready to go. As we head trackside, our field getting set for 60. Easton Swain going to roll off on the pole. We'll get the starting grid up on screen. Connor Lee to his outside in the 51. Zach Murphy in the 29 machine going to roll off on the bottom of row number 2. Matt Borndren in the 00 will start 4th. Two-time champion Brandon Elvis starting from the 5th spot here this evening. Adam Fulford in the 71 going to roll off from the 6th position. Christian Peterson in the 23 going to roll off 7th. Then we'll have Chris Smith in the 80 machine to his outside in the 8th spot. Row number 5, the Connor brothers sweeping 1-2 in qualifying. Dylan in the 91 going to be on the bottom side in the 9th spot. And then Joey Connor, your fast qualifier, with a big invert tonight of 10. We'll see if he can make it to the front in 75 laps. Back behind them, John Lyday and Brad Carpenter in row number 6. And then rounding out our field, Mark Keeler in the 108. Jeremiah Woods in the 75 and Lance Sater in the 67. Unfortunately, Carter Hollingsworth in the 28, unable to make the call. Here come race time. So the 1-to-go signal given to these drivers, Easton Swain and Connor Lee, going to lead us off for 75 laps of action. Connor Lee currently sitting in the 6th spot in the point standings. He would love a good night here at the Five Flag Speedway. We'll see what happens as the pace car pulls to the inside. The green flag is up. It is out. We are underway here at Five Flags. As the field heads down into turns 1 and 2 for the first time, Easton Swain going to head up to the top side. He'll be clear of Connor Lee for the lead into turns 3 and 4. First time around, Easton Swain going to take the top spot. Zach Murphy now trying to charge for second. Lee in the 51 on that outside lane, trying to keep the momentum up there on the top side. As Easton Swain comes around to lead lap number 2. Battle still on for the second spot, though. Matt Borndren is right there in the 00. Knocking for third. As they go through turns 3 and 4, once again, the field fairly single file. Here comes Dylan Connor to the inside of Brandon Elvis as well. That's for the 6th spot back behind. You see 4 cars under a blanket battling for that 2nd spot. Looks like Zach Murphy going to be able to peek ahead of Connor Lee. Just about clear down into turns 1 and 2. And into turns 3 and 4 that time. It looks like Murphy going to be able to clear. So give Zach Murphy the 2nd spot. Matt Borndren now knocking on the door for 3rd. And it's going to be a matter of who can keep the tires on it and who can drive the car the hardest. You're going to be able to drive this car hard, but for all 75 laps, you got to keep the tires on it and have enough pace for the end. Your top 7 have broken away from Christian Peterson in the 23 machine. They're all running in a pack of their own out front. Adam Fulford has a good view of this battle for the 3rd spot right now. Matt Borndren on the inside. Ooh, a little bit sideways there off the corner. Really shows how much these guys are fighting the wheel. Up front for the race lead, Zach Murphy looking pretty racy behind Easton Swain, as Matt Borndren is able to get that spot away from Connor Lee. Lee losing several positions now, going to try to fall in line in front of Brandon Elvis. Things calm down here, 10 laps in. Out of 75. Jeremiah Woods to the inside of Brad Carpenter. That's for the 10th spot. Move Woods up into the top 10 from his 15th place starting position. And up front, battle for the race lead. Zach Murphy to the inside. Swain up top, Murphy down low. Battle is on for the top spot. Murphy with a little bobble, but he's going to be able to clear Easton Swain for the lead. New leader on lap 14. Give it to Zach Murphy. Matt Borndren going to try to follow suit as well. There goes Adam Fulford to the inside. Fulford thought about 3 wide entering turn 3, but thought better of it. As they head through turns 1 and 2, Dylan Connor to the inside of Easton Swain now, trying to take away the 4th spot. Looks like Elvis going to follow as well. Move Brandon Elvis into the top 5. Your front 5 all right there in a line. Just waiting for one to make a mistake. Matt Borndren in the 00 machine right now. All over the back bumper of Zach Murphy. See just how close he gets in the corner right there. Murphy, you can see the field back behind. Here comes Brandon Elvis to the inside of Dylan Connor. That's for the 4th spot. Brandon Elvis is looking racy, and right in front of him, here comes Adam Fulford for 2nd. Fulford to the 2nd spot. Matt Borndren sits 3rd. Brandon Elvis is able to complete the pass on Dylan Connor. Keep in mind, we have had one previous race at the Five Flag Speedway in the Street Stock Showdown. That was back on September 11th of 2024. Brandon Elvis went to victory lane in that race. And he's going to try to do it again here tonight. Right now, just about a third of the way into this one. And the 4 machine looks pretty quick to start. To the inside of Matt Borndren for the 3rd spot. Rolling that inside lane. Dylan Connor waiting in the wings right behind him. And Elvis able to make that pass. So move Brandon Elvis up to 3rd. He'll set his sights on Adam Fulford and Zach Murphy. And as these guys are battling, everybody's kind of getting a little bit closer together. Connor Lee running a little bit faster lap times than Matt Borndren and Dylan Connor. And Borndren not going to be complacent with sitting in that 5th spot. Trying to fight back on the bottom. And that brings Easton Swain a little bit closer each corner. Meanwhile, for the race lead, contact! Lance Sater in the wall in the 67. Trying to get that machine out of the way. And the caution flag will fly. Not sure what happened there to the 67 machine. He was several laps down. And contact on the exit. Murphy had to get on the binders. Everybody able to miss, but just big time trouble through turns 3 and 4. Let's watch it one more time and see if he got loose, and it looked like he did. Overcorrected right up into the outside wall. And that will put us under yellow for the first time here this evening. Caution laps not counting here tonight. So Murphy, just over a third of the way into this race, took the lead back on lap 14. We'll see who is able to pull away on this restart. Everybody kind of got a little bit spread out towards the end of that run, but with this restart here with about 50 laps to go, we'll see who has a little bit more speed. As the lights drop on the iRacing.com pace car, we'll send them Matt Green, I believe, just under 50 laps to go. So Murphy, Fulford, Elvis, and Vorndren going to lead us into the restart zone. Pace car makes the hard left turn down to the bottom. A little bit of a bump from Brandon Elvis, but clean through the restart zone. We are back underway at 5 flags, and look at the lead that Murphy has. And oh, there's trouble into turns 1 and 2. Matt Vorndren contact the 00 machine around in turns 1 and 2. I think Mark Keeler had some contact as well. Easton Swain in the 33, I believe, may have been the initial contact with Matt Vorndren in the 00. Let's watch one more time. Actually, I think the 71 of Fulford may have just missed a shift there. Let's go on board with Fulford on the green here. See if we can't get a listen. Yep. You can see the RPMs shoot up right there. And that is going to put us under caution for the second time. Fulford in the 71. Misses the shift there. Easton Swain, nowhere really for him to go. He tried to get out of the gas, I'm sure, but not expecting everybody to stop in front of him. Brandon Elvis in the 3rd spot right now, hungry for a win. Elvis has ran second 3 races in a row now. He would love to find victory lane this season. He's a 2-time Street Stock Showdown champion, 8 feature wins in the Street Stock Showdown, but has not found victory lane yet this season. Will it be tonight at 5 flags? Let's find out. Pace car back off through the restart zone once again. Green is back out. We are back underway. Murphy leads down into turns 1 and 2. Elvis gets a good start in the 4 machine. He'll be clear of Adam Fulford in the 71. Dylan Connor in the 91, trying to get to the 71s inside. We'll see if he's able to do so. Elvis in the 4 machine, right on the back bumper of Zach Murphy, trying to find an opportunity to pass. Meanwhile, here comes the 23 of Christian Peterson. Peterson up into the top 5, trying to make a charge here. We're getting close to the halfway point. The aggression knob might be starting to turn up just a bit. 31 laps in. 44 laps to go. Connor Lee looking to the inside of Adam Fulford, trying to take the final spot of the top 5 away. Looks like Fulford going to be able to hang on the top. And some really good racing we're seeing up front here. These guys are really having to drive these race cars hard to get all the bit of speed that they can, but who's going to be able to keep the tires on it the best? That's what's going to be fun throughout these next 40 laps. Here comes Dylan Connor to the inside of Brandon Elvis. That's for the 2nd spot. Connor to the inside. He's got Christian Peterson back behind him, trying to figure out which lane to go with. But Dylan Connor, second place qualifier today, up to the third spot right now. Trying to take second away from Brandon Elvis. Elvis up the racetrack at a 2. These two are 1-2 in the point standings as well. Only 6 points separating them. Now battling for the second position on track. They've got Christian Peterson right behind him, who's getting a great view of all the action down into turn 3. '91, you see him drive that car up almost sideways off the corner. Wheeling and dealing here at Five Flags. As that time into 3, just about clear. We'll see if he can make it happen off of 4, and he will. Move Dylan Connor to second. He'll be clear of Brandon Elvis now. Christian Peterson going to try to take over the second spot. Looks like Elvis going to get down to the bottom for third. Meanwhile, back behind, John Lyday in the 13, trying to fend off Easton Swain and Chris Smith. Smith looking to the inside, nothing going to come from it there. Up front for the lead, Dylan Connor slides around Zach Murphy. Brandon Elvis able to follow suit as well. Here comes Christian Peterson, and oh, they're wrecking back behind. Brad Carpenter and Jeremiah Woods sideways there on the front straightaway. Not sure what happened, but the caution flag flies once again on lap 43, the third time here this evening. Let's take a look back at what happened. Looked like off the corner, Brad Carpenter in the 31 just got a little bit sideways. There was nowhere for Jeremiah Woods to go in the 75. Luckily, it looked like he got that race car slowed down in time to where he didn't get too much contact with the wall. Let's look at that on board with the 75. Yeah, just barely. A little bit of a tap. But not much time for him to avoid that one. Luckily, both drivers able to get him back rolling. They'll come down and maybe pull out the fenders a little bit. No tires allowed here in the Street Stock Showdown, so these drivers doing the best they can to cool them down. Under yellow, you see Christian Peterson, prime example there, way up the racetrack in the marbles, trying to get those right sides cooled down through the center of the corner. 23 machine trying to find some extra grip in those tires. As they roll back around. As they run right now, Dylan Connor would take the points lead back if he were to win and Brandon Elvis were to finish second. But I know Brandon Elvis does not want to finish second for a fourth week in a row. He won't want to hear it in the interviews, so we'll see if he can make it happen here. Running out of laps, though, just about 30 to go. We'll see what happens as Dylan Connor and Brandon Elvis bring us to the green for the first time. Pace car is back off into the restart zone. They go. A good jump by both drivers there. Connor's going to have about a half car length advantage down into turns 1 and 2. The whole field side by side through the first set of corners. Down the back they go. Looks like Dylan Connor going to try to close the door, but Brandon Elvis going to keep the 4 machine wound up on the top side, and he'll try to take over on the outside lane. Looks like Connor in the 91 going to be able to clear the top. Elvis tried the crossover move to the bottom, a little bit of a bump through the center that time. Elvis sideways down the back straightaway. Big save there. Here comes Christian Peterson. Peterson in the 23, trying to take over the 3rd spot on the outside lane. Murphy drives back to the bottom. There was a little bit of contact there going into turns 1 and 2. 29 laps to go this time by for Dylan Connor, trying to pick up feature win number 1 on the season. And it would be his first in Leave the Pack as well. Down the back straightaway. Back behind him, Connor Lee takes over the 5th spot from Adam Fulford. Easton Swain going to try to follow suit as well. Your fast qualifier, Joey Connor in the 90 machine, not able to drive through the field quite like we saw that speed in qualifying. Him and Jeremiah Woods go at it for the 10th spot. And oh, Adam Fulford, all kinds of sideways off of 4 that time. Things are starting to heat up here towards the back of the pack with 26 laps to go. Joey Connor in the 90. Your fast qualifier trying to make positions. It'll be 25 to go right here for Dylan Connor, who leads in the 91. But not by very much. We look at the laps between your top 3. Brandon Elvis has been quicker all of the last 3 laps. And with 24 laps to go, does he have anything left to take the top spot away? Once again right there, just a little bit quicker. Loose off of 4, or loose off 2 that time though. In a big send to the bottom, Christian Peterson tried to find the inside lane underneath Zach Murphy, but Murphy able to hold off on the top side for the 3rd spot. He wants a piece of the action up front. Christian Peterson trying to find his way onto the podium. 22 laps to go this time for Dylan Connor in the 91 machine. Is there anything left from Brandon Elvis in the 4 to try and drive up there and pass him? He got close. How about Chris Smith in the 80 machine? Last time by was the fastest car on the racetrack. Does he have something left to drive up to your top 5? 21 laps to go. You look through your field, 18 4s is where you want to be. That last time around, Elvis and Murphy just a little bit quicker than your race leader, Dylan Connor. But is there enough time? 19 laps to go. The times have been really bouncing back and forth between the 2 drivers. No one's really able to get a clear advantage over the other one. But you can tell the handling's starting to go away on some of these race cars now. You really see them floating through the corners. That 4 machine of Brandon Elvis really working that wheel on that race car. Let's watch through turns 3 and 4 here. Trying to keep it smooth on the exit. But through 1 and 2, this thing just wants to break sideways just like that. Through turns 3 and 4. Oh, back behind. Christian Peterson way up the racetrack. That's going to give the 3rd spot, fourth spot to Chris Smith. Peterson in the 23, trying to cross back over to the inside of Easton Swain, but Swain going to take over the 5th spot. Now up front, battles on for the 2nd spot. Zach Murphy has found something here in these last couple laps. He's up to the back bumper of Brandon Elvis. Trying to make the pass. He doesn't want to drive it to the inside and overdo the corner entry and get that car loose. But the time's starting to run out here. 14 laps to go. Zach Murphy looking to the inside, down into turn number 3. Brandon Elvis way up the racetrack. And Murphy now to the bottom. It looks like he will take the spot away off of turn number 2. Now, is there enough time to track down your race leader, Dylan Connor, who's now out to a 1.2 second advantage? Look at the lap times this time by. Murphy's first lap really by himself and not with Brandon Elvis. And nearly 2/10 slower than your race leader, Dylan Connor, right now. The fastest car on the racetrack continues to be Chris Smith and that 80 machine. Really putting together some quality lap times here. Here he comes to the inside of Brandon Elvis. Through turns 1 and 2. Getting turned around here. We'll come back to 9 laps to go. 9 to go for Dylan Connor. He's really starting to open up that gap now. 1.5 the gap. 8 laps to go for the 91. Trying to pick up his first victory of the season. He's had a lot of speed, just has not had the luck. He was your fast qualifier last week at IRP and was involved in an early incident. The first lap, I do believe, that knocked him out of contention. Zach Murphy trying to hang on to the 2nd spot. He's got Chris Smith back behind him. Smith looks pretty quick in that 80 machine, but he's kind of stalled out here in these past couple laps. Has not been able to get around Murphy just yet. Back behind them, Joey Connor gets to the inside of Easton Swain. He makes that pass for the 5th spot. But the battle continues to be for the 2nd position here as we come back to 4 laps to go. 4 to go for Dylan Connor. Zach Murphy trying to hang on to 2nd. Chris Smith trying to take that spot away. Three to go here for the 91 machine. Here comes Smith to the inside of Murphy for 2nd. Down into turns 3 and 4. This time by popsicle sticks up for Dylan Connor. But all eyes are on the battle for the 2nd spot. Chris Smith is going to take that position with 2 to go. Can Zach Murphy do anything about it to get it back? They're sideways off of 1 and 2. It looks like Chris Smith is going to be able to settle that one. White flag is out. 1 more lap to go. Final time around for Dylan Connor. He qualified in the 2nd place spot. They drew a 10 in the invert, which put him 9th on the grid. He passed his way up through the field, battled hard, and after 75 laps, it's going to be Dylan Connor picking up win number 1 and leave the pack. Here at the Five Flags Speedway, second place, Chris Smith. Third place, Zach Murphy. Fourth place, Brandon Elvis. Joey Connor, your fast qualifier, brings it up for a top 5 finish. Easton Swain comes home 6th. John Lyday 7th. Connor Lee 8th, Brad Carpenter 9th, and Adam Fulford rounds out your top 10 and lead lap cars. We'll quickly grab a word from our top 3 finishers. We'll try and get this wrapped up as quickly as we can. As we talk to first, our third place finisher here tonight, Zach Murphy. We'll see if we can't get him up in the booth. Alrighty, third place finisher up in the booth, Zach Murphy. You got a copy?
I got you, bud.
Alrighty, Zach. Well, a fun race here tonight at the Five Flags Speedway. You led some laps out front in the 29. Ended up in the third place spot when it was all said and done, but it looked like a fun night all around.
Yeah, man. Yeah, happy to finally run up front, maybe get a little airtime for once. It's been a rough go in the street stocks this season, but yeah, a lot of fun tonight. It was a little greasy at the end there. I was hoping we could hold on for second, but yeah, congrats to Chris and good run to Dylan and Brandon there. It was a fun race with those guys. Those last 35, 40 laps there.
Yeah, it looked like it was easy to pass, but at the same time, it looked like it was hard to pass. You guys really, it mattered a lot to save the tires late in that race, especially with a little bit longer lap, 75 versus our normal 50 to 60. Really put it on you guys to conserve your cars, have them there at the end. A couple of guys started to fade. Brandon Elvis was running in that second spot. You ran him down from a little ways back and were able to make that pass. And then ultimately Chris Smith from a while back saved his tires just a little bit better and found the second position. But still a great run for the 29 machine. Third place spot. Who do you have to thank, Zach, for a podium finish at Five Flags?
Yeah, tires certainly mattered. Easy to heat them up. Yeah, just got to thank you, Winston, for the great broadcast and putting this league on. It's been fun. Haven't had the runs I've wanted, but always fun to show up. Hopefully we can get the numbers back up here these last few weeks. Got to thank the guys down at Race From 3. Always a great group to race with there. Easton, Adam, Brad tonight. Yeah, got to thank my family for letting me come down here and have this little hobby. And yeah, I think that's all I got tonight.
Alrighty, well, congratulations to you, Zach, on your third place run here tonight. Next week we have Slinger. How are you feeling about your chances about maybe going back-to-back on podiums?
Yeah, well, that place is a bull ring. I like short track racing. That's what I grew up, doing and watching. And so, yeah, I haven't raced Slinger in a while, but I'll have to put some practice laps in there, and maybe we can be competitive.
Alrighty, well, congratulations once again, Zach, on your third place run, and we wish you luck throughout the remainder of the season.
Thank you, Winston. Take care.
Yes, sir. Alrighty, now to talk to our second place finisher here tonight. See if we can get him up in the booth. Chris Smith up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. I got you.
Alrighty, well, second place finish here tonight at the Five Flags Speedway. A pretty action-packed race. You started in the 8th spot. Kind of sat outside the top 5 during that beginning portion of the race. Kind of saved your stuff, and it really showed there in that second half. You came to life in that final run. You were able to work your way up into the top 5 and even into the second place spot. Tell me about your race.
Yeah, man, I was trying to save tires there, that race. I knew later on in the run it's going to get pretty rough. Man, I had to work for that one. That one was fun, though.
Yeah, it definitely looked like a fun night. Looked a little bit slippy and slidey there towards the end once the tires got a little bit of heat in them, but that always makes it fun, especially here in the street stocks. But another good run for the 80 machine. I believe this is 2 podiums in a row, if I'm not mistaken. But who do you have to thank for a second place run at Five Flags?
Yeah, I want to thank my wife for letting me do this. Say hey to my dad. I know he's watching. Elvis Coleman Racing, Coastal Performance Shop, Coleman Designs, Barry Elvis Performance Fabrication, and thank you for putting on the broadcast.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. It's been a good first half of the season. This officially marks the end of the first half. Next week we kick off the second half at Slinger. How are you feeling about your chances at 100 laps there?
Just try to finish that race, honestly.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a game of survival, but nonetheless, congratulations to you, Chris, on a good second place run here tonight at Five Flags.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Now we will talk to our winner up into the broadcast booth. First time Leave the Pack winner, Dylan Connor. You get a copy.
Yes, sir.
Alrighty, well, winner here tonight at the Five Flag Speedway. You qualified in the second spot. Ended up drawing a 10 in the invert. Started in the 9th spot here tonight. Worked your way up through the field. We had 75 laps, so you had a little bit more time to work with. But passed your way up through the field, and that final run really started to get some separation and solidified the victory.
Yes, sir. It finally feels good to shake the monkey off my back. There's been a bunch of races been solid in the top 5 in contention, and then the last one, just a racing deal got taken out. Just felt like we've been close, but just glad to be able to close the deal out tonight. And it was really solid those last 15 laps. But I couldn't say much more about the respect throughout the pack. I mean, to be able to come through there, I think the only main caution was the missed shift. So it was great racing, and glad to finally get one.
Yeah, it was good to see you get that, like you said, get the monkey off your back. We've seen a lot of speed from the 91 machine, a couple poles. Obviously, lots of speed throughout the season, but just waiting for that win, and it finally came here tonight before the first half of the season was over. Who do you have to thank for a win in a league like this? Obviously, good competition, a lot of good racing. How do you feel? Or who do you have to thank?
I just got to thank my family, first of all, family and friends and fiance for supporting me and watching me in all the leagues and broadcasts I run. And I'd like to thank my dad. When he's not racing, he spots for me, so he's a big help when he does that. And I'd like to thank my main sponsor, Chris and Alan Puryear with Caldwell Banker Elite. And I'd like to thank you for the awesome broadcast.
It's been a lot of fun throughout this first half. We've got an exciting second half coming up. I've asked the other two competitors this. How are you feeling about your chances at going back-to-back at Slinger next week?
I'm not gonna say anything yet. I mean, I like the track. I'm pretty fast at it, but it's kind of in all honesty, no matter what you run there, it's kind of a crapshoot. So, just main thing would be there to be on your toes and try to keep your nose clean. Being there at the end with a clean car, that's gonna be your best shot at a win. So, was able to have a great night tonight, grab quite a few bonus points. So, I'm happy with the momentum, and hopefully we can carry it on to Slinger.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that, the bonus points there. You and Brandon Elvis are having a very good points battle through this first half of the season. I think you're going to leapfrog him back here tonight after the victory. What's it going to take to beat the two-time champion throughout this second half of the season?
Well, like you said yourself, he's two-time champion. He's going to be right there. He's going to be consistent, and I think that's what it takes to win. Be consistent week in, week out. Wrap up as many bonus points as you can throughout the week, throughout the race day. With the drop weeks, the bonus points kind of stay there. So I think that's a big key. If you can, grab as many bonus points as you can and tally them up, and when the drop weeks come into effect, and hopefully it all works out. So I think consistency and bonus points is going to be the biggest key throughout the rest of the season.
Yeah, the bonus points have been a big thing for the first two seasons of Leave the Pack. We'll see how it stacks out at the end of this season. I think it's going to be a big factor as well. But nonetheless, congratulations to you, Dylan, on your win here tonight, your first in Leave the Pack. And we wish you luck throughout the rest of the season. Hopefully we can see you back in Victory Lane.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yep. Alrighty, that was your winner here tonight, Dylan Connor. We'll look at the results one more time before we wrap things up at the Five Flag Speedway. Up on screen, your results from tonight's feature. Dylan Connor, your winner in the 91. Chris Smith comes home second. Zach Murphy comes home third in the 29. Brandon Elvis in the 4 machine comes home fourth. Joey Connor comes home fifth in the 90. Easton Swain sixth. John Lyday seventh. Connor Lee comes home eighth. Brad Carpenter ninth. Adam Fulford 10th. Jeremiah Woods Jr. comes home in the 11th spot. Christian Peterson 12th. Mark Keeler 13th. Matt Borndren 14th. Lance Sater rounds out the field in the 15th spot. And that is going to do it for us here tonight. We'll look at the schedule one more time. We've got Slinger next week Stafford the week after that, Hickory, Bristol, Lanier, and the Nashville Fairgrounds is the championship race. 75 laps there. That's going to be a fun race, watching those guys keep the tires on it. But nonetheless, thank you guys for watching the WD Broadcasting Network. I am your host, Winston Deal, signing it off. Follow on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. Like I said, hit that red subscribe button if you have not already for more iRacing content. But I am your host, Winston Deal, signing it off. See you guys next week at Slinger. Peace out.